small project that we're doing today. So as you can see, if you stand back here, we've just started a bit of here. It was already dug out, so what used to be here was composite decking, and she started getting mice and rats underneath it, so she wanted rid of it, so we're going to pave it instead. So we've already got a sleeper that was already in there from where the decking on top, so we're going to put another sleeper high here and another one on top of that to create a level, which will be level then, or start level with this artificial grass. Now, we did this quite a few years ago now, and we actually did put a fall on that, so ideally we can follow it and it'll be perfect. But it did occur to me that we've never actually shown you the process why we do things. So obviously it's already dug out. So if you look at this area here, I'll just get a tape measure to show you. So as you can see here, sleepers are 200mm or 20 centimetres. So at the absolute minimum, and I mean the minimum depth, will be 150 of a depth. So that's at 200, which is ideal anyway. And then how you would do it, we put a membrane down, which you can see here, permeable membrane, ground stabilisation sheet. And then this is an optional extra if you want to do it, but it does help, is the biaxial grid, which helps it strengthen the base. It looks a little bit like plastic chicken mesh, but it's called biaxial grid. You would put that on top, and then you would lay MOT on top of that, and that would go into the gaps and help strengthen it. So you want a minimum depth of that of 100mm of Type 1 MOT. So we'll show you bringing that in through the time lapse in a second, which we'll cut to now. Right, we've got that first bit of stone round and brought round. So what we'll do now is we'll compact that, which I'll give you a time lapse of. We left it away from the edge, as you can see there, because we've got to raise it another sleeper there, and also got to put a sleeper in there as well, which we're going to get on the way home today. So we'll give that a whack, and then we'll add a bit more to it to get the levels right, and we'll give you that time lapse now. Right, what you want to do as well is to give the stone a bit of a dampening on top like that, especially in warmer months, and give that another compact, and that'll help it bind a lot better. You don't want to completely soak it through, but enough just to get a nice damp coat on that, and it'll soak for a little bit. Like that. And then we can give that another whack. That'll help that bind, and then we can put a bit more stone on top as well. Right, we've just got the sleeper on, so that's all secure in place now. And what we'll do is we'll bitumen the back of that to protect it, and any other bit of exposed wood that hasn't been bitumen, completely coat that so it's waterproofed. And then we can bring some MOT in up to that now then. So we're ready now for starting to lay. We're just going to lay them that way on and work our way back in a third bond. So we're going to be using the tile-right spacers as well, 3mm gap in those, and we'll give you a little time lapse. Right, so when you're doing your mortar beds, you want a full bed of mortar like that. So we've laid some of the plank paving on this one, which is nice, very nice paver to lay. So you've got your MOT down, you put a full mix of mortar down, a full bed. And what you want to do is you want to level it out with a trowel. I prefer to use a bucket trowel or a float trowel. Just think it's a bit easier for leveling out. Just like that. And to make it even a little bit easier, you can get one of these, which is a screeding tool for mortar beds. Brilliant tool. And how that works is you would put it on your paver like that. So you've already started with a paver. So in your very first one, you have to do that by hand. Get that level, get that exactly right, get your fall on it, and then you can use your screeder tool after to get it exactly correct. And then you would just basically put a bit of pressure on that end and then pull it all the way along, which I've already done, like that, and drag it along, and then that would create a nice flat bed. And that's set at the correct height. So this one in particular comes with an insert that you can take out and set at different heights. So that's set to correct depth for 20mm porcelain. And then once you've done that, you would lay your paver on that, which we're going to go and slurry in a moment, and I'll show you how to slurry that actually. And also to get your spaces correct, we like to use these leveling clips. So these are 3mm. So all you do is you put them underneath like that. Same with this one, like that. One in that corner and then one in the end corner there, just like that. So that'll give me that 3mm space all the way around. I'll show you how you finish that in a moment after we've slurried the slab. So you get your slurry, which has been mixed up, and you want to be getting this all over the paving like that, and try and get as far up to the edges as you can. You want to be like 2 to 3mm thick of slurry all over that, 2 to 3mm, and that will give you a bond bridge between the paving and the actual mortar below it, because of porcelain's got low porosity to it, so it doesn't adhere massively well to mortar for a long period of time anyway. So I get it all covered, a couple of mil thick across there, and you want to be getting the slurry as a pre-mix powder that you add water to, and obviously follow the instructions of how to mix it. A lot of people use SBR and cement, or SBR water and cement, and the trouble is you can't get the ratio exactly right with that. So if you do it this way, you've got to call back if there's any issues with mixing your slurry. But yeah, just like that. Just make sure you fill in as much area as you can. Right, now I've got that levelled, tapped it down and got the level, so it's got a 4 going that way and it's level that way. With the little towers that are sticking up, you've got these spinners, and the idea is you put them on there like that. I always like to get them all on first before fully tightening them. One there, and oops, and one there, like that. And then all you do is just nip them up, and then basically how they work is it takes the lippage out of any of the paving that you're laying, so it's flush with the one around it. Obviously you don't want any trip hazards or anything like people catching the shoes or anything like that on the edge of it. Just takes that little bit of lippage out, just give me like a little bit of a nick up like that. Go around until they get quite tight, and that's it. And then you'll feel it on your hand, you can feel that it just runs smoothly over it all. And a lot of people look at these spacers and you've seen some videos online of them where it'll lift the other paver up, and it shouldn't happen like that at all. So you get your bed nearly level, nearly correct, tap it down nearly correct, and then that brings the lippage, that pulls that one down. It doesn't lift that one up at all, because you've already laid that, that's already suctioned to your base. When you tighten them, it pulls that one down a little bit. Don't use it as the leveling guide though, it's just to take that lippage off, because you've already got it level. You're just making sure that there's no lips all the way around it. Right, so we've laid up to this edge now. Obviously we're not leaving it like that, but we've just overlaid it. So we can take a measurement, draw a line, and then get a nice consistent gap against that fence edge. And that'll be ready for gravel and grouting after that. Everyone seems to be raving about this Steintec product recently. So we've gone, the customer wanted to go for the anthracite. So we're going to do this, we're going to give you a time lapse of us doing that. Tom's going to knock up a bit of already mixed up with a bit of water just to solidify it a bit more homogeneous for the edges so it don't flow out. Clean that off. I'm going to then squeegee in the main area, and then we'll see what it looks like after. So this is a dry brushing product, and it's just using a squeegee to squeegee it in, so we'll do that. And then once we've brushed it in, we've got to mist the surface to start it curing basically. And the idea is, obviously, because we're so fine, it will just go into every joint, go all the way to the bottom. I mean, you're going to get the odd greedy joint, but go all the way to the bottom and then solidify it off. So we're going to do that. This is the squeegee we're using, twin wall one from Tileright. We'll give that a go. So that's what it looks like once you've squeegeed a certain area. Now you can see they have started dragging off of the excess of that, so I'll take some more excess off of that and then drag that bit back and take the excess off, and then carry on up here, and we'll see how far that tub goes. I've just done a little test, so we squeegeed that off as much as possible. Obviously it still leaves a little bit on the surface, and obviously in the videos we watched they say squeeze as much as you can off, then wet it, then clean it with a wash boy. Obviously in my head I want to get it off as much as possible before I do that, so we tried it with a brush, but it only works at a 45 across it. Did never go down the lines or anything, just a light brushing just to get a bit of that excess off to gather it, and that seems to have worked a lot better. It hasn't took any out of the joint. Obviously if you brush it in line before you wet it, it's going to drag it out of the joint, but you do 45 with light brushing, it just took that bit off that surface. So I feel a bit more confident now going back that way with it. Alright, as you can see now, Tom's just knocking up some for the edges, filling them in, but we've got it all screeded in with the squeegee. So what we need to do now is, once Tom's done that, is give it a mist over with a bit of moisture until we see a little bit of pooling on the joint, and then we have to give it a clean off with wash boys and just get its final wipe down, and then that should be it. And then any greedy joints you can fill in with a bit of knocked up wet stuff. But I think the idea is, with it being dry, it should just flow all the way in and have no problems. Obviously you can see it actually looks a bit worse on camera than it does by the eye, but you can see obviously where the grat's collected on the pavers, which we've got as much off as possible. But yeah, that's normal, and then obviously clean it off with a wash boy after you've misted it. But yeah, it's looking alright. Done the step as well down here, and yeah, it looks it does look a little bit mucky on the camera, although to eye it doesn't. The camera picks it up really well. But yeah, that get a clean off in a minute. See how that looks. So now we've misted it, I'm trying to get it out of the sun so you can see it better. You can just see it there. I don't know if you can see it on camera. I can see it pouring a bit on the surface. That means that's done. So as soon as you see it like a little bit, it's like a glisten on the surface. Yeah, that means that's done. So all I've got to do now is clean it off with a wash boy, and then that should be it. Tell you, you're meant to take off any excess water first with the squeegee, and then do your wash boy. Right, and there we are, we're done. We've cleaned off all the Steintec grat. It's looking really nice now. I was surprised how easy it was to do, if I'm honest. Obviously if it was dry anyway, because when it's got to be done when it's bone dry. But yeah, it was massively easy to do. Even the cleaning off process was easy. I didn't get any streaks. You know, like with tile grat, you know, when you're cleaning it off you might get some streaks. I've had none of that. So I was really surprised how easy it was to do. I mean, time will tell how long that will last, but it went pretty well, if I'm honest. So that was the anthracite grat, so the black one, and it is quite black as well. So you know, some grats you struggle to get that full black colour because you're more of a charcoal. But yeah, I was really impressed with how well that went. I mean, this is dry now as well, so you can see it dry, there's no streaks. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. So the slabs were from Pennine Paving. There was Oakwood in Walnut, and the grat was Steintec Tuff Joint, or Tuff Grat, can't remember exactly, in the anthracite. But yeah, it's absolutely very simple product to use. But I don't think it's the end of the winter products, nothing like that. It's definitely a summer product, unless you have a really dry winter. I think that's the only thing that lets it down at the moment. But I've told the customer to let me know how the grat goes, because this is a new one for me, and I'll update you if there are any major developments. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.